Cameron, thank you very much for joining us. You're just a few days away now from being back into full cricket and eligible for selection for Australia. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty excited, to be honest. It's been a pretty long 9 months. There's been times where it's gone really quickly, and there's been times where it's felt long. It's felt it's felt like this is gonna take a little bit of time. But I think as certainly the first few months got out of the way, it became really positive, and there was even almost a sense of timelessness really with it all. I was there was a lot of enjoyment there, but cricket's the thing on the horizon now. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you mentioned the word positive. Obviously, we were messaging back and forth. We did a couple of training sessions, boxing down at the gym that we go to. Every contact I had with you, particularly at the earlier stage, I was amazed at how positive you were. Did you make a conscious effort to be that positive?
I think I've always been pretty optimistic, even in times where it's felt hard. Cricket is a good example, I guess. Times where your form's really struggling, or you feel like you're not sure where your next run's going to come from. There's a part of you that just wants to keep showing up because there's just some faith, or there's some hope that around the corner there will be something really positive. And I know in my life, even to that point, that the times where I had battled, the times where I had felt moments of hardship, that if I stuck at it long enough, it would change. And I guess that's what uncertainty is about, and that's certainly something that I had to embrace through this whole journey.
Talk about the journey. Let's go back to sort of where this journey started. Well, not even to the incident in Cape Town. Can you recall the lead up to Cape Town? The team, did the team feel under pressure to win? Did you feel any vulnerability about your spot in the team?
Yeah, I think after the Ashes particularly, we obviously played some really good cricket. I remember even in my first test, just the intensity out in the middle probably had risen 50% to what I would feel in a Shield game. And it obviously feels like Test cricket is a huge deal. You obviously know it's a big deal, you see it, but to then sense and feel what that's like was a completely different experience. So
the intensity of Test cricket surprised you somewhat. What about the team environment? What about on the day that all these events transpired? Can you take us into the mood and the events of what led up to that unfortunate situation? Yeah,
I think always in cricket and in the change rooms, even in the games prior to the game in Cape Town, it's about key moments, isn't it, in the game, and identifying those key moments and what you can control and can't control. And using sandpaper on a cricket ball is certainly out of the spirit of the game, but I guess a part of that is you're trying to take control of a particular part of the game. And I can remember on day 3 that day was pretty dark, it was pretty gloomy, overcast, it was a bit wet, and I think that was a big part of the reasons that led to making it, for me, to make a really poor decision. Why did you make that decision to do that? Yeah, for me, the decision was based around my values, what I valued at the time. And I valued fitting in. And I guess with fitting in, you hope that fitting in earns you respect. And, with that, I guess there came a really big cost, for the mistake. At the time, did I know any better? No, because I valued this thing called fitting in with the team, fitting in with, with my mates, earning respect from, senior players, and I guess, it led to an absolutely really destructive situation, emotionally, personally, and I lost cricket for that period of time. But the really interesting thing that I've come to myself about the why sort of thing, and I've asked myself this question a lot, where if I had said no, like what would that have meant? And the thing that I've inquired and thought about so often myself is, if I actually said no and I went to bed that night, I had the exact same problem. I had the same problem that I had using the sandpaper and the cricket ball.
And what's that problem?
And the problem was I would have gone to bed and I would have felt like I'd let everybody down. I would have felt like I'd let the team down. I would have felt like I would have hurt our chances to win the game of cricket. And if you actually look at both scenarios, they're both related to this idea that all I wanted to do was to feel, I guess, a sense of value. And if this is Cameron being really, really true to himself, and this is Cameron valuing these other things, you can understand how they're actually not the same thing. So I guess moving forward from that, this whole notion of being true to myself, that's been probably the part of me that I've had to really inquire deep within me, and to be able to understand that these things that I valued, which I'd probably been actually doing for years in my cricketing career without actually realising the effect that it was having on me. Pretty powerful stuff, yeah, for me anyway. Extremely.
And it must be challenging to talk about, but hearing you say the term, if I said no, plenty of speculation around the public, philosophise around, were you asked to do it?
Well, the interesting thing was at the time, yeah, definitely, I was asked to do it. I guess I just didn't know how to be true to myself in that moment. So I didn't actually know any better. I didn't know any better because I had no prior experience to kind of go, of course, the act of using sandpaper and a cricket ball is wrong. But when you combine with that, this value to fit in and to feel, I guess, valued sort of thing, to earn respect, this, I guess, a part of culture that,
acceptance.
Acceptance, yeah, this part of culture that people crave, and certainly something that I craved. You can understand how they just don't fit together, those ideas. So as a professional sportsman, you have a bit of an ego, you have a bit of attachment to this identity of who you think you are, and to feel what I felt, to be able to, I guess, to fall down and absolutely crash and burn sort of thing. I take no other responsibility but the responsibility I have on myself and my own actions, because I'm not a victim. I had a choice and I made a massive mistake, and that's what's in my control.
Do you feel any anger or disappointment at the people who did ask you to do it? I mean, are you at liberty to say who it was?
Yeah. Oh, well, like at the time, Dave suggested to me to carry the action out on the ball, given the situation that we're in the game, and I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better because, I just wanted to fit in and feel valued, really. Yeah, simple as that.
Take you out onto the field quickly. What was going through your mind when Peter Hanscom runs out? Is that the first point where you thought, trouble?
I think I felt trouble probably way before then, when the picture of me was up on the big screen TV.
That's the first you noticed, sort of seeing the images on the big screen, was it?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no hiding when you're in that moment, is there? You're just completely vulnerable, you're completely in the open. Pete's got a smile on his face there, probably because he's trying to be as light-hearted as he possibly can, but...
What was the message?
I honestly cannot remember.
Really? Yeah.
I honestly can't remember. I was in a pretty dark place by that point, I think.
That quickly?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew that there was... I knew that I wasn't good. Yeah.
India 1 for 57 at lunch. This is the Bunnings Warehouse Big Break. Up next, more of the exclusive chat between Gilchrist and Cameron Bancroft.